just together. Yeah, hello. The Grand Theft Auto 5 trailer came out a few days ago, I believe. I think, sort of, yeah, 2 or 3 days ago. And I thought, you know what, given my own and, you know, everyone's love for the Grand Theft Auto games, I thought, yep, this is another topic which needs to be discussed in a video blog. So, I think I mentioned on one of my previous videos that what makes the Grand Theft Auto video games and, you know, Red Dead Redemption, of course, so great was the fact that you had an open-ended world which was really living and breathing, and you could do, you know, arguably anything that you really wanted to. And it looks like, even though I haven't seen any in-game footage as of yet, and I'm unsure if there actually is any in-game footage available, but nevertheless, you know, from these, you know, trailers, if the graphics, you know, purely from a graphical sense, if the graphics are going to be as what is advertised on these trailers, you know, we are really in for a treat. And I think that speaks a lot to the technology of, you know, the Xbox 360. How it really amazes me how much this console generation has lasted. So, you know, the Xbox generation didn't last all that long. PlayStation 2. I'll never forget, you know, the Sega Dreamcast generation, which has released, you know, a couple of my favorite games of all time, like Shenmue, was, you know, such short-lived. And, you know, this console generation of, you know, your PlayStation 3s and your Xbox 360s are lasting a very long time. And, you know, I had a discussion with someone at like an electronics store once, and he's like, yeah, that's because there is no way for the technology to go like Blu-ray, sort of like the, you know, like upper echelon, or, you know, like it can't be pushed basically beyond what is being pushed right now. And I guess I'm not sure how technology works, but I guess everyone's complacent with, you know what, there's no point us, you know, pushing this further because we can still, you know, like make games a little bit better. And I always found it interesting how, like, with games, the developers seem to like make the games like a little bit graphically good to start with, and then over time, I'm not sure if they did this purposely or if it's a marketing thing or whatever, but the graphics seem to improve over time. And, you know, for those of us who have watched the Grand Theft Auto 5 trailer, you know, the graphics in here are very impressive. Like, it's like night and day compared to, you know, your Grand Theft Auto 4. So a little bit of history. Ages ago, back in the day, I acquired, you know, like a copy of Grand Theft Auto 2. Didn't get around to playing 1, and I was like, cool, you know, this top-down view is cool. And immediately, the thing that drew me to Grand Theft Auto 2 was the music. Like, hopping in a car and like listening to this music, it's like, you know, this is something different about this game. And you know, going to all these little phone booths was fun. Getting different missions from different organizations, and seeing like your meter go up, like, you know, your favourite with the Yakuza, and then, you know, the triads, and this sort of like thinking, you know, okay, do I side with this gang or that gang? And, you know, feeling like a true, you know, like criminal, deciding, you know, exactly who you're going to side with, was like a hallmark of, you know, Grand Theft Auto 2. Then, I'm not going to remember it that well, but came, of course, Grand Theft Auto number 3. And this is when, you know, the 3D aspect came into play. And it was really something else. Like, really, like, I was like, you know, take my first, you know, one of my first 3D games I ever played, which is Super Mario 64. Just experiencing that 3D world for the first time was amazing. And to take, I mean, I know it's bad to say, but I think all of us like have like a bad or dark side to us, and having the ability to play this sort of game, you know, it does have its controversies in that regard, and having no sort of like social repercussions is an interesting factor. You know, like, you can play this 3D game, you can do whatever you want, you can kill whoever you want, you can run over people whoever you want, you can do all these crazy missions, and it's all in a 3D environment that feels realistic. Then, of course, came, you know, Grand Theft Auto Vice City and San Andreas, which, you know, touched on, you know, your, you know, like 80s, you know, Scarface sort of, you know, Miami Vice vibe, and of course, you know, San Andreas, you know, the black community, and you know, riding cross country on bikes, and of course, you know, the infamous jetpack. You know, these were all very these were all interesting games which took you. For me personally, they gave me a particular vibe. You know, Tommy Vercetti. Yeah, just the whole game was really. I mean, all of us who have played it are going to, you know, testify that, you know, this game is a game we're always going to remember. And of course, San Andreas, just yeah, you know, the same, you know, stuff these cars always driving on roads and stuff. For a change, let's actually go and you know, like you know, go cross country and, you know, go on these bicycles and travel terrain here and there and go to these rocky outposts and stuff. And that was like an interesting sort of country, you know, deviation from usual, you know, like city urban, you know, landscape. And then, of course, you know, came Grand Theft Auto 4, which, you know, like, of course, you know, first Grand Theft Auto game for the new consoles. everyone's going to be excited about that. And throughout all these games, of course, in Grand Theft Auto 4 as well, the whole, like I said, the story, characters, emotion, the characters in this game, in these games, are really my favorite part of the series. Like the lines, you can always tell when someone has made a good sort of story writing for a game, in that the lines are very much cherry picked lines, and by that I mean they're funny, they're smart, they're razor sharp, and they really add to the character's motivation, which is what we want. We want to get to know our characters as we were completing the game. And some of my favorite moments in all of these Grand Theft Auto games, hopping in the car and driving to a particular location, and hearing the conversation between these characters, and even to the point of course, in Grand Theft Auto 4, where you would go to a virtual computer lab, and you would type emails to your cousin or your relatives and stuff like that. All of these little things, which are seemingly small and insignificant, actually ironically add up to your enjoyment of the game. And like I said, the sum of things is the whole of things. All the little things add together are greater than the individual pieces. And I think the developers really understand this. We want to play a living, breathing world, and if there's any small things left out of it, that's going to detract from our enjoyment of these video games. And of course, then came something which I never really expected, because I wasn't paying attention to the video game scene at the time, and that was Red Dead Redemption, and that saw our return to somewhere we've never been before, which is the Wild Wild West. A perfect time setting for that, which is of course, John Marsden, the end of the Wild Wild West, and the starting of the new era. That was a fantastic storyline. Unfortunately, I got it spoiled that the main character. I'm not going to spoil it here, but something happens to the main character, which sort of detracted from my enjoyment a little bit. But nevertheless, there's nothing like that. Before the game got released, I'm you know what? They've tapped all these different environments. If there's one sort of environment that they need to sort of go into, it's old-fashioned environments. My personal thought is that there should be some sort of even though they're maybe pushing it, but at least a ship centered, or sort of a pirate style GTA, or maybe a medieval one. But then of course you're sort of detracting a little bit from the essence of GTA. And I think put it in as many different creativity ideas as you can. But I think GTA, the series, really belongs in your urban, typical American city, with your crazy drug dealers, your crazy characters wanting your quest for the American dollar, which is even more so accentuated in the storyline apparently. Because it's fun to laugh at society. It's fun to laugh at this representation of Los Angeles in the latest game, which is the release, which is the point of my topic, which is of course Grand Theft Auto 5. So first of all, we got these three characters. You've got Miles, and you've got who else? You've got this Trevor guy and Franklin, and of course the first character was Michael. So Michael is this retired bank robber who, according to the story writers here, he's sort of reached the apex of his story already. And you've got Franklin, who is living in a beach, and he's working for some car dealership or something like that. And as much as he's trying to get out of it, his story is projected forward, with reference to some article here, and he's drawn into the world of crime, even though he wants to go against it. And then of course you've got Trevor, this crazy sort of guy living in the country somewhere, Beverly Hills, and he lives in this he's a former partner in crime of this Michael guy. He lives in a trailer. He's a psychopath, and he's a drug addict. So there's enough elements here for all these characters to be intrigued as to how all these characters' storylines actually interconnect. And I think that is something which is going to be really interesting to find out, sort of how exactly these storylines interconnect. And there's another thing, being able to switch what I've heard between these characters for these missions, sort of going to a different character's perspective, gives me a 24-esque sort of vibe, as it's cool seeing things from different people's perspectives as the game or day or story unfolds. And I think they're going with this sort of thing. And the developers mentioned that all these characters here for Grand Theft Auto 5 are going to be very different from any sort of Grand Theft Auto game we've played before. But you've seen the trailers, and I think one of the things that immediately one of the things sort of I guess the game does get a little bit repetitive at times in free world mode. when you're sort of like collecting things or doing stunts and stuff. Personally, I don't have time for that stuff. But you know what, like the free world mode really does give you a chance to sort of make your own fun. I'll never forget, you know, watching my friend playing where I used to live. You know, just doing all this crazy stuff like getting in a car, you know, getting like 5 stars, being chased by the FBI and SWAT or whatever. You know, diving in the car after it gets on fire, running, you know, onto like a skyscraper, hijacking a helicopter, going on like a, you know, like an air chase, landing on some building, somehow acquiring a parachute, parachuting somewhere to the desert while shooting these cars as they do flips, and getting a rocket launcher and shooting these cars in the air, running over like 10 people, you know, in a car as you land. You know, these moments are the moments that you create, and that's something that I guess game developers have always understood, is, you know, the freedom of choice. Because why? If you have freedom of choice, you're doing what you want to do. What you want to do is not necessarily what another person wants to do, so it adds your, you know, individuality to a particular game. And since everyone is different, everyone has different likes and dislikes, if you cater towards that, you know, sort of like desire in people, you know, no way can you ever do anything in any of these Grand Theft Auto games, then, you know, you're going to have a winner of a game. And given some of these, you know, non-free world elements of the story, which, you know, the missions that you have to do, I mean, it's sort of linear in that way, of course, but at least you can take time out and do these little things in between. But nevertheless, like some of the stunts in the game, I mean, just this crazy trigger guy with a baseball bat, these crazy like in-house, you know, wire-esque shootings, you know, for you know, your was it the Franklin guy, and of course, you know, Michael just I don't know, almost giving like a Soprano sort of vibe, you know, like he's just sick of everything, and, you know, he's retired, and somehow he's going to get involved with these other characters, and they're all going to interconnect. And, you know, given the quality of these characters, I know the storylines are going to be great, and I'm really confident, you know, that these storylines are going to interconnect in a very, very good way. And, you know, that's why I'm looking forward to the Grand Theft Auto 5. You've all seen the trailer, you know, Michael, Franklin, Trevor. If not, check it out on YouTube. It is a great trailer. You know, these guys know how to release a trailer. You know, as illegal as it would be in real life, it is going to be a very enjoyable game that I'm sure I and many of you Talk About World.net fans are going to check out. And with that check out, I'm going to check out of this video. Frisk the Cat, out. Peace.